guys. All the smoke and smog, it's terrible. It reminds me of this lesson we're doing on China right now. It's not corona, it's the smog, you guys. So yesterday we were talking about China and their population issue, and plan A was for the communist government to reduce the population by requiring people to only have one child per family. But the other problem with big population growth is that the more population there is, the more industrial China becomes, the more smog and pollution that gets produced. And so plan B, part 2 of this plan for the communist government was to reduce the smog in China. And so they decided that the cleanest way to produce energy is hydroelectric power. So it's not just that they decided it, is that it is the cleanest way to produce energy. So up until they set this policy in motion, sorry, all their energy was being produced, or most of it was being produced with coal-powered plants, and coal produces all sorts of pollution. And so they decided to build hydroelectric plants. And so, as the name suggests, hydro is water-powered, and so they were going to produce water-powered energy. Now, the best way to do this is by building big dams that produce power from moving water from giant rivers. So their biggest river and the longest river in China is Changmeng. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Changjiang. It's a Changjiang River. So it would be similar to like the Mississippi River here in the United States, in that it's the longest, biggest river in China. So they decided to build a dam in order to bottle up that water power so that they could harness that to make clean energy. And they did. They were very successful in this big dam that they built. But the thing about building a dam is there is a cost and a benefit to everything. And so I don't know if they considered the cost before they built this, but what I do know is that there was a great cost. So while the dam is productive and useful, and it is producing hydroelectric power, which is very clean energy for China, the cost came at the fact of flooding an area that was full of towns and villages that were currently being lived in, but also ancient villages with great historic value. And I'm not sure that they weighed the cost of those being destroyed. When you build a dam on a river, the water that would normally flow down the river gets backed up into a big reservoir, and it spreads out. And so they lost millions of acres of farmland. In addition to towns and villages, people were displaced and they had to move and find new homes, and they lost all of that historic data, artifacts, and things that they could have gleaned and learned from. It was a great loss, but they have been successful in reducing their smog. Now, listen, China's smog did not just affect China. In fact, it was blowing all the way across the ocean. Very significant percentage of the smog in the United States is actually from China, was blowing over from China. So, so this one hydroelectric plant has been both a good thing and a bad thing. That was Plan B.
Oh man, my legs are
Sorry. Were you
Shout out
getting
to me.
smog most of the time?
Yeah, I was getting smog.
Let me see it.
I have to stop.